This is Philly Talk with Heather
and Christina.
And we're going to pretty much talk about random stuff, but today we're going to focus on two things that a lot of people say a lot that people want to know our views is opposite sex friends and Facebook, or Datebook as like we like to call it nowadays. So, Christina, what is on your mind first? Let's just start talking.
Well, you know what I think is funny? When, someone's talking to you or whatever, and they're trying to woo you.
And they're talking as in trying to get to know you.
Yeah,
right? Like they, okay.
And, they say, oh, I'm a good guy, this and that. Well, what's your Facebook? Add me to Facebook. And then you add them.
So it's kind of like instead of giving a number, you give a Facebook, right? Like,
yeah, so
okay.
It's kind of like,
Okay.
No, instead of numbers, you give your Facebook URL. So, and then when you add them to Facebook, you can't help but notice, because they pop in your news feed, or you might want to write something on their wall like, oh, good luck, or something like that, and you happen to notice the way they talk to other females, and I use that term loosely.
Okay, so I can see how that's going. Okay.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it. It's like, okay, you're trying to make yourself out to be a good guy and want to be on Facebook.
How dumb guys can really be. Like, if you're going to talk to one person, you're going to talk to multiple, because you're not like boyfriend and girlfriend, I can see. But it's like hide the evidence, Like, delete the stuff, especially if you know someone's going to go on there. Because you know it's out in the open, and it's there for everyone to see, pretty much.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. Did you confront this guy? I mean, a lot of them do it. I see it all the time.
Well, not yet, but I'm waiting. I have my reasons why I'm waiting, but I'm waiting. Usually, I'll bring it up right away, or I'll post something on Facebook to where they know that it's about them. With this other guy that I was kind of dating for a little bit. We went to a Phillies-Dodgers game, and, I mean...
Pretty soon that'll be on Facebook. Like, do you want to go on a date and just do it right from your home?
Yeah, well, see, that's basically what he did. He emailed me. He goes, oh, hey, well, I didn't really feel like texting you, but I wanted to know if you'll go to the Phillies-Dodgers game. I'm like, yeah, okay. But he doesn't feel like texting me, but yet he feels like typing on the computer and clicking multiple things. He's like, okay, yeah. It doesn't make sense.
Kind of think of it. I was talking to a guy that recently added me on Facebook, and we're talking, and I thought this guy, like, the vibe about him was kind of like a womanizer, kind of like look at people, like the wandering eye or whatever you want to call it. So I'm looking at the Facebook, and it comes on my news feed that, like, there's a picture, and it's like, oh, what a beautiful picture, or something like that. And I'm like, oh. And then there's more conversation, and luckily she's kind of far away because, then I have more competition, but it makes me open, and I'm like, okay, well, I see how I'm getting treated, so that's how I'm going to treat people.
Yep.
Which goes into my next thing. Okay, now this is what really irks me. Friends of the opposite sex. Can't happen. Under any circumstance. Can't happen. Guys and girls cannot be friends.
I mean, I used to think that it could happen, but then I took a look back and I'm like,
And you thought of your older sister who's like put it in your head over and over in every scenario. I mean, growing up, kids running on the schoolyard, ew, that little boy, ew, that little girl, You always have friends. The girls hang with the girls, the guys hang with the girls. The guys' night out, the girls' night out. When someone goes up in a bar or at Starbucks and walks up to you, they're not saying, hey, how are you? I want to be your friend. No, it's more like, hey, how are you? I want to get to know you and see where it goes. Now,
or they say, well, let's be friends, but in their mind, they're really undressing you with their eyes.
Or like the guy is saying, let's go out for a drink, and the girl may say, no, but we can be friends. So the guy's on the back burner, and he's thinking, you know what, maybe she'll come to her senses eventually, and, you never know what could happen. Or even the girl, I mean, this goes vice versa. I'm just using the guy because it's coming from our perspective. It could also be, it's better to have her or him in my life than not at all. You know? Like maybe they're thinking, well, it's good to have her in my life, him in my life, than nothing at all.
Yep.
And then hoping that maybe something will happen later.
Yeah.
Or there's the ones that already dated and it didn't work out. So it's kind of like an ex. Like, why would you be a friend with an ex? Like an example of what not to do.
Well, you know why? Because I think, with me, I think in my mind that, well, they're just kind of keeping them on, like, reserve, like a last resort. Like, okay.
Kind of like leading on. Like, you're stringing them along.
Like, well, if I'm single by the time I'm 35, then guess what? It's going to be me and you, boo, and we're going to get married.
Or for instance, like the ones that have friends, and, like, the opposite sex friends, like, doesn't work. So, and people say it's a trust issue or jealousy issue, and it's not. It's a respect issue. Like, fellas, if you're my boyfriend, would you want me hanging out with another guy? I mean, girls are much worse than guys, and I'm not going to do anything, but you know what he's thinking, or like if I was to say, hey, let's go on a date, let's try it out. I mean, 9 times out of 10 you'll say yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the other 1% is the ones that are, you know.
I know you've probably seen me wipe my face over my eyes, but it's hot. It is. It's hella hot here in South Philadelphia. Yes, please.
and that goes on more, and people are like, no, it can work if you trust it. And I'm like, no, and I put the challenge up there a couple times. All those people that have childhood friends or, you know, long-term friends or just friends where okay, fellas, you're not interested in the girl, but that doesn't mean the girl's not interested in you. Stop calling a fly. I thought I did. That's bull rat. But it's like, you go there and you say to the girl, you know, I've been thinking, how about if, you know, this thing ain't working, how about you and I become more than friends? Let's just try it out. And see what happens. Just see what happens one time, fellas.
Oh, yeah.
Or ladies, get that confidence and see what happens. This is Philly Talk. We keep it real. We don't sugarcoat. We keep it real right here. And
I mean, it's not like, you know, it's not like you can say, forget about it, and then all of a sudden, you know, no, whatever.
And they try to twist it around. Let me see. Okay, let me just put this out there. Okay, I have a best friend who's female. Okay, she then gets married or has a boyfriend. We can all be friends. No, we can all be friends together. But if they ever break up, I'm tied to her. She's my best friend. You know what I mean? I won't be like around him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Now, if I have a guy friend who gets married or has a girlfriend, and we all hang out, just because they're married or have a girlfriend, that doesn't mean that he lost feelings for you. It just means that he's still hoping that something happens, but his life has to go on. But you're still in his life. And that's what the difference is, and people don't understand this. So if, you know, divorce rates are up now, and you know marriages are breaking up. Look at the old days. I mean, if I'm in a relationship and and we're going out, it's gonna be okay, Mr. Boyfriend. I'm going out with the girls. I'll see you, you know, in 2 hours. And the guy.
Oh, I never call my boyfriend Mr. because that gives him too much power.
Oh no, I'm just using that because
I know.
So we gotta use one here.
But you know how some of these guys think? Yes, you, and you.
I'm glad I said this straight because people all think like this. And I mean, we have different views, and we're not saying our way's right or wrong.
You know
what makes me laugh?
You know what makes me laugh? When people say, oh, well, I won't do nothing with them because they're ugly. You know, so we can be friends. No, because you know what? Guess what? Ugly girls give good Hummer too.
Yeah, and who knows when we're
but you're going to see their face when you hit it from a right. And who knows?
Just because everyone's pretty in their own way. Like, I don't want to bash on people, but just because you're not interested in them, you can't speak for that other person. You take that challenge, okay? You take that challenge. You take those beer goggles off, okay? You take that challenge. You sit there and you pull that girl aside and be like, hey, I've been thinking, and you have to say it sincerely. Like, I've been thinking, you know, this dating thing for both of us isn't working. Let's see how let's just give it a try and see what happens. And I bet that they'll say, and here comes the dogs out. Who let the dogs out? Because they're running in South Philly. In South Philly.
And they don't have no collars. You know what I mean?
I
see all the dogs around all the time, running around up around here. Two-legged dogs. Whatever. Not all dogs have 4 legs.
And they surely don't all go to heaven. Because that's some kind of fairy tale. Walt Disney is the worst person that you could ever think of. Look, he put this
you, Walt Disney.
Put this stuff in little kid's head, man. Prince Charming. There ain't no Prince Charming. You wait in England. There ain't no Prince. Wake up.
And there ain't no castles either, so whatever.
Castles in the sky. That's about it. I ain't planning on going there soon. There is none around here. I need to go to the West Coast or the South. I'm going to Texas. I'm or should we stop here?
I don't know.
Because there's lots of
What do you
people I
think?
can...
How about this? How about you guys out there? Yes, you, and you.
And ladies, because we like to hear from
And
you too.
let us know
And
what you guys think. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
just leave your comments here.
what do you think about, like, guys and girls being friends?
There's no right or wrong answer. No one's gonna bash. I mean, we're passionate about our views. But we're not gonna say yours are wrong. So have respect, because we all want some respect.
And what do you
Respect
think
us.
about the
Don't
guys
bash.
that try to use Facebook on the slide? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they answer other
I
people's
gotta
comments,
stop
and
you
yet
here.
they don't text you. Shady, right,
Yeah.
girls?
Yeah. And you know what? What is this poke?
That's right.
Poke. That's
Poke.
like a
Because you know
flirt.
what? To me, poking in real life means it means poke, okay? Yes. They want to poke you with a friend.
Or
Poke.
poke. Like, I see you. Like, come on.
Right? I ain't fat. I ain't like Emma Rose, so I don't got rolls. You ain't gonna poke me. Shit.
Oh, the South Philly attitude's coming out. But that's because we're all ramped up.
Yep. Stop to the beat down.
Uh-huh. And the sun is beating down now.
Take a baseball bat to the motherfucking leg like Joe Pesci. Woo!
So, we want comments here, what you want us to talk about, our views or whatever. Go anywhere with it, because, honesty is what's number one. And we keep it real, no sugarcoating. So,
we ain't got no
anything you
bakery.
wanna talk- Yeah, I know, right? That's down the street.
I mean, we have goods, but no, we don't sugarcoat nothing.
Keeping it real on Philly Talk.
Yeah, that's right. Philly Talk.
We'll be back.
Everyone didn't hit up my eyes.
That's a wrap, ladies.